is raining outside. Also, this mic thing is so extra, but it has given me a sense of confidence that I cannot achieve otherwise. So I guess I'm going to keep using it. And I also don't have to yell anymore, so you can hear me. Um, so I think all things considered, this mic is staying, at least for this review. I have a bunch of books here, which I finished in March. And then I have two books that I finished in February that I wanted to talk about so that I can start talking about books in sequence. And yeah, let's get started. The first book that I'm going to talk about is Anne Sears' A Leopard Skin Hat. Boy, oh boy, did this book make me feel sad in 1,000 different ways. Nothing happens in this book, to be honest. Like, nothing really happens. It's mostly feelings of one person told through another person. So the narrator talks about this woman who he is in unrequited love with, and she is just somewhere else, man. She's completely somewhere else. And I read it when I was in a down phase of my life, or I won't say down phase. I was just like sad. And then I read this. It made me sadder. So yeah, fair warning that you must have seen this book around and you were like, oh my God, I'm going to read this. This is going to make you cry, just by the way. So if you want to cry, pick it up. It won't make you cry. It didn't make me cry. It made me think about life, and it made me think about how I relate to the person who is being described. And the person being described has psychological problems, which I don't have, but it made me question myself in different ways. So yeah, I rated this book as 3.5, but it's a personal rating. I think other people will like this book. I just didn't like it because I'm just so afraid of feeling emotions. So yeah, this is book number 1. Because this is editing me, and I just realized I didn't add anything from the book. Like, usually I read something from the book, but I did film this back in March and I read from the book, so I'm gonna add that here. Let's read you this that will not reveal the plot. Okay, I'm really trying here to not reveal the plot. You never know who your loved ones are or what they're capable of. Perhaps they have lives we never even suspect. Perhaps we all have lives the people closest to us knows nothing of. And perhaps this is what really attracts us to each other. The presence of this secret life which from time to time is revealed to us through a gleaming narrow slit. So yeah, there are great observations about relationships, about love, about mental health, and I think this is an important read. But again, you should read it when you're in a good mental space, because when I read it, I was a little down. It got me really, really down. So yeah, so this is book number 1. Okay, so the second book that I'm going to talk about is Morning Girl by Mikhail Doris, and this is based on a diary entry by Christopher Columbus. When he was traveling around, he found this community and he wrote a diary or journal entry for that. And yeah, so it deals with one family from that community. It also goes into one of the scenes where the entire community is present and they're having a celebration, but doesn't go too much into detail with how they live or what kind of traditions do they have. Is it a tribe, or are they more strict to outsiders, or what's going on with them in general. But it goes into family dynamics. It goes into what's going on in the lives of Morning Girl and Starboy. And Morning Girl is Morning Girl because she wakes up early, and Starboy, who's the brother, stays up late, hence he's called Starboy. So there's this one scene where Starboy is upset with his family and he goes to some other place. I'm not revealing anything. This is not the plot. So, and then his mother is there to ask him something. And this is what she asks. Tell me what you have learned, she asked, her words low and like a dream. At night, I answered in that same whispering tone. At night, you must be your own friend. And you won't get the depth of this dialogue until you read the book. So I would highly recommend this. I think I gave this 4 out of 5 when I first read it, But the more I think about this book, this is a 5 out of 5 read as well. Like it's a really good book to read. There is this, I think for this particular book, there was this underlying innocence that I really liked. The characters, they were not depicted as these philosophers or people with high wisdom. They were kids who loved nature, who had their habits. Like the girl wakes up early, hence her name is Morning Girl. The boy stays up late at night and sleeps through the day, hence his name is Star Boy. Like these simple little things, I think I miss them um, in complicated books that I read, or more non-fiction kind of books that I read now. Um, Not non-fiction, I mean like fiction books that I read, but like they're not. They're complicated. Okay, so these two were my February reads, and I'm going to talk about the books that I finished in March. The book that I finished today is The Cat Inside by William Burroughs, and this is this tells you that he used to do drugs, because honestly it's so funny. You cannot take this seriously. It's not going to change your perspective on life. It's not something you must read, but it's a hilarious book. I found it to be humorous, cute at times, weird at times, scattered at times, fragmented at times, but also like this book gave me company, good company. And yeah, I would recommend this to people who like cats and who hate dogs, because William does not like dogs. This is a well known fact after this book. So, yeah, give this book a try. And if you do let me know. If you read any of these books, do let me know what you think. Um, my reviews have not been that serious, and I'm taking note of it. So, it's because I don't write a script for it. I do it from my memory, and that's how I want it to be. I want it to be very candid. I want it to be the first thing that I think about the book to come out in the reviews, and keep it very candid and light. But yeah, if you think I have left something out or you disagree with something I said, feel free to tell me. Yeah, feel free to tell me. Maybe I'm inviting trouble, but it is what it is. I actually folded a page to read in the review because he explains the book in that phrase. Let me see. Yeah. So he has written this, like he has summarized the book inside the book. This cat book is an allegory in which the writer's past life is presented to him in a cat charade. Not that the cats are puppets, far from it. They're living, breathing creatures, and when any other being is contacted, it is sad, because you see the limitations, the pain, the fear, and the final death. That is what contact means. This is what I see when I touch a cat and find the tears are flowing down my face. Talk about being extra. Next, I read two poetry books. First one was Ursula K. Le Guin's So Far So Good. So this is her last book that she wrote before she passed away, and I picked it up because I've always wanted to read her science fiction, but never got to reading it. And I found this book in the poetry section, and I was like, I should give it a try. And I read it, and it's very cute. It's wholesome. I think the thing with English poetry for me is that I don't know how to be the judge of it. I feel like I like all poetry books because poetry is such a good medium for feelings and emotions that it makes you feel something. And that's the reason that I find it very difficult to rate poetry books. I feel like they're either a hit or miss with me, or I'm obsessed with the writer. And in this case, it was a normal read. Like I won't say it's a bad book or a good book. It was just a poetry book. It will make you feel things. It will make you appreciate life. It will make you think about the immensity of life, like the universe that we're living in, the way that humans are, all of these things. So if you are into that, I think you would really like this book. And I think this book really taught me gratitude, if anything. So so yeah. This is Ursula K. Le Guin's So Far So Good. Next, I read Sharon Olds' Stag's Leap, and this goes into her divorce. And she has, oh my gosh, she has written the best poems, one of the best poems I've ever written in this book. I gave this 5 out of 5 because I couldn't put this down, and at the same time, I didn't want to finish it. At the same time, I was eager to finish it. At the same time, I wanted to know what's happening in the next section of the book. It gives you perspective on love when love fades away. And I think that's something that I have not read that much in the literature that I've read so far in my life. So yeah, if you want to read about a devastating love story, this would be your read. But also, like, it's not just about the love story. I think she also has a lot of other elements to it. There's, first of all, the poems are perfectly written. I learned so many new terms from her poems. Like, she physio physiognomy, I think, is the word that I really loved from her poems, among others. I should really write down the words that I learned because I forget them. I like read a word and I don't know the meaning of it. I go Google it and then I completely forget about it. So I really need to start writing down the words that I really love. That would be a good practice. And then I read Upstream by Mary Oliver. I think I talked about it briefly in my last video. I finished it. So this is what I want to be in my English class. When I submit something, a review of something, a critique of something, this is what I want to do, but I end up doing really bad. So in this book, she goes into explaining the work of some of her favorite writers, and she also gives you a perspective on being an artist, a creator. So if you are in any field where creativity is needed, or even if you're not, you work, I don't know what a non creative field would be, because I feel like all fields are somewhat creative. But if you are an artist, read this book because it's so important. It gave me a new purpose in my creative pursuits. It was so whimsical, at the same time serious, at the same time made me feel like there's more to poetry and literature and writing than we give credit to it. So yeah, this was a 5 out of 5 read for me, and maybe it would be that for you as well. And then lastly, was I didn't read this. This is something I'm reading right now. So these are all the books that I've read so far. But last night I was going through a bit of downtime. After every downfall, there is a high fall, and I'm moving towards the high fall. But during my downfall, I was like, I want to read something that is either written by a scientist or is a science fiction or science related, because I felt really inadequate in my scientific abilities and capabilities to understand scientific phenomenons that goes on within our body or outside or in the universe. And I was reading about quantum mind and quantum computing, and I was like, I really want to read something related to this, but I don't have a book on it. And I like to read digitally as well, but of the physical books, they are my preference. So I went to my bookshelf and I was like, maybe I have something. And guess what I found? The Beginning of Infinity by David Deutsch. Wait, let me hold it. This was sitting on my shelf and I had no idea that this is there. So yeah, I will be reading it. I read first chapter last night and it was amazing. It goes into inductivism and what doesn't work in that theory. So yeah, you know what, this book called out to me. I feel like with books I have certain energies that just attract me to certain books, because whenever I go to the library I don't search for books, um and if I do, I always pick up some other book that I didn't search for. So I just randomly go to library and pick up books that I think I will enjoy, and I've always picked out books that I've never seen around. They're so niche, and eventually they are famous. Like, I remember I got Vegetarian by Hong Kong, and nobody knew about this book. But then she got the Nobel Prize recently, I think in 2024. And yeah, I think this would be my advice to readers, that you should just go to bookstores and libraries without a book in mind and just feel around. Just go and look around, and there will be some book out there that you want to read for no reason. No reason. It could be a weird read, but you're like, your brain is like, you need to read this. Trust me, there's something in your life that you need to know, that you need to learn, and you're going to learn it from that book. So I'm going to leave you with that advice. Do what you want to do with that. Okay.